Welcome to NFL World, where NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And on Friday evening, I should say, Bengals fans got some very exciting news as the Cincinnati Bengals and Shemar Stewart, the 17th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, have agreed to a contract, a rookie contract. The holdout is over. He can report to camp as he did. This contract should not have taken as long. And that will be the pin comment. Are you guys happy with, or should this contract should the Shemar Stewart contract have taken this long to get done? That will be the pin comment. Because really, that's what it is. This contract, as I looked through it, it was first tweeted out by Pelissero, then retweeted by Ian Rappaport, who quote tweeted and said, that what happened was they agreed to the contract, the holdout is over. They both sides kind of bent a little bit by going and saying, okay, Shamar is willing to agree to the language of the contract. We'll get into that. For this number, we'll get into that. Up front, which is the other thing we have to get into. Let's begin with the language. We talked about this a few weeks ago, but to reiterate, the Bengals changed the contract language for first round picks. The language states that if you do anything wrong, get pulled over, anything, ticket, whatever, we can void your contract so you won't get a cent. You'll be a free agent, and that's it. That's all it was. And that's in every contract. That's just not in his contract. That's in every contract. So what was being said was, on the Shemar Stewart side, was, well, Marius Mims, the first round pick of last year, didn't have that. And in previous years, they didn't have that. So why do I have to have it? That's what they were saying. His agents are LAA, which I'd never heard of, to be honest with you. I'd never heard of them. So I have no prior experience if this is the way they operate or if this is the way they just saw the situation unfolding and that's what they wanted. I didn't see that, but I'm not familiar with them. So that's what the Stewart was saying from the language perspective. Everyone's like, it's a fully guaranteed contract. The rookie contract, first round pick contract, that's kind of how it works. A lot of them are going to be fully guaranteed. That wasn't the holdup. We saw that a lot of draft picks get those. It's the language of the contract and the money payout. Now let's talk about the money payout. The payout money is players, especially rookies, don't exactly get their money right away. They have to wait. He was going to have to wait till December to get his guarantees. That's not what he wanted to do. He wanted his money up front. So there was another little hill to work through. So what was the agreed upon money that agreed to this contract happening? But like I said, the Bengals bent a little. Stewart bent a little. Stewart could have very well said, I'm not playing. I'm not signing it. And I'll go back into the draft. And then next year I'll get drafted again. That has happened before, not in this situation though. Quick story time. Bo Jackson had that happen. He got drafted originally by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He wanted to play baseball so badly. He said, I am not going to play for you because I'm going to lose my eligibility. So unless something happens and I can go play baseball part-time and football part-time, I'm not playing for you. That's what he said. And then Tampa Bay drafted him anyways, even though Bo Jackson said, "Don't draft me." They drafted him anyway. He went and played baseball full time for a year, went back into the draft, got drafted by the Raiders, and the Raiders were okay with him playing baseball as well. So he played baseball and he played football. That's what happened. Shemar Stewart, it's not the same situation. He wasn't playing baseball, but for another sport. He was just playing football. But if he had not signed his contract or not signed a participation waiver, which he could have done in OTAs and in minicamp and in training camp, and you have to sign for every activity, every in OTAs and minicamp and in training camp. And even in the NFL season, you'd have to do it until you sign your contract. He could have done that. He didn't want to. So he just sat there. So what was the bet? What, in essence, bent the knee of both parties? Well, $500,000 up front. That's what it bent. Stewart agreed to the language if the Bengals went and gave $500,000 up front when he signed his contract and paid him as soon as he signed and not in December. That's what was agreed upon. And I'm scratching my head when I heard that. I'm scratching my head. I'm like, my goodness, what? $500,000. So you're telling me we sat in this conversation, we sat here waiting for this to happen for over 2 months for $500,000 as a player. But on the flip side, I'm also like, as a fan, I'm saying, why on earth did Cincinnati try to haggle him for $500,000? It doesn't make any sense. I get they didn't want to do it. They decided to pay him up front. But it was a really interesting, it's first world problems, I guess, but it was surprising to me that that was what the number was. But it's good also because you get him to training camp, you get him in shape and all that stuff. The problem I have with this is you have to get all this done. The fact it took so long, you're worried he's not going to be in shape. He hasn't really been around his teammates very often the last few weeks. He hasn't. He left the second to last day of minicamp. He just left. Trey Hendrickson did the same thing, but it's Trey Hendrickson who wants a lot more money and isn't a rookie and is way more valuable to that team, so he could take that stand. Stewart hasn't played in this league, so you're worried about the camaraderie with his teammates, the leadership not being there, him not being there, and then when everyone else started at OTAs and they were going like not half speed, but slower than half speed. And then minicamp, you're going half speed. And then at training camp, you're not going full speed, but you're going like 70% in pads. You're going about 70%. So that's what's going on. For him to miss the 50%, the 25%, that's a lot. That's a lot of time missed. And you can't get that timing back. So you hope he can figure it out quickly. Because also him not being there with the players, he wasn't there with the coaches. So there's a concern from that perspective. And a team that really needs to get better on the defensive line. And Stewart is a freaky athlete, we get that, but you really need him better on the D line to help out this Cincinnati Bengals defense and offense. Which the offense was explosive, the defense was just pathetic. But let me know in the comments, should the Shemar Stewart contract have taken this long to get done? Let me know in the comments section down below. For NFL World, I'm Jake Bieber.